two men, matching suits, lead masks covering their eyes. No wounds, no signs of struggle. Just a cryptic note, a bottle of water, and two lifeless bodies lying on a hillside in Brazil. No one saw what happened. No one heard them scream. And to this day, no one can explain what they were waiting for. This is the real story of the lead masks, case one of the most disturbing unsolved deaths of the 20th century. And once you hear the details, you'll understand why it's never left the minds of those who read it. It began on the rainy afternoon of August 20th, 1966, on Morro do Vintum, a steep forested hill just outside Niterói, Brazil. A young boy flying a kite stumbled upon something strange in the underbrush. As he climbed higher up the slope, he saw two bodies lying side by side motionless, half covered in the damp growth of the hill. They were adult men, neatly dressed in matching formal suits and raincoats, but what truly unnerved him were the masks. Each man wore a thick lead mask, the kind used to protect against radiation, not full helmets, but crude, hand-cut slabs that covered only their eyes, like blindfolds made of metal. There was no sign of violence, no blood, no wounds, no struggle. The police arrived quickly, and with them, a mystery that would remain unsolved to this day. The two men were identified as Manuel Pereira da Cruz and Miguel José Viana, both electronic technicians from the nearby town of Campos das Goytacazes, about 200 kilometers away. They had left home on August 17th, telling their families they needed to buy work supplies. Instead, they boarded a bus to Niterói, carrying a mysterious bag and wearing formal attire far too formal for a supply run. In their possession were a towel, an empty bottle of water, a notebook, and a strange handwritten note, which read, "Be at the agreed place at 4:30. Take capsules after the effect. Protect metals. Wait for signal." The wording was clinical, eerie, and vague. Protect metals. Wait for signal. What signal? From where? And what were the capsules? Autopsies were inconclusive. No signs of trauma. No internal injuries. No poisons, toxins, or drugs were detected, though the coroner admitted the bodies were too decomposed for accurate testing. The men had been dead for several days before discovery. One wore a wristwatch. Both had cash in their wallets. Nothing had been stolen. There was no sign of robbery or foul play. The lead masks, however, became the focus. They weren't professionally made. They had been cut with scissors, the edges rough. Investigators believed the men had made them themselves. But for what purpose? Lead masks are used to block radiation, usually from light sources or radioactive materials. But there was no radiation on the scene. No scientific equipment. No tools. Just two dead men lying side by side under a gloomy Brazilian sky. Digging into their background revealed a strange twist. Both Manuel and Miguel were amateur spiritualists. Friends and family confirmed they were part of a small group that dabbled in esoteric experiments, trying to make contact with spirits, aliens, or higher intelligences through homemade electronics and obscure rituals. They believed in strange energy fields, in cosmic forces beyond human understanding. One theory suggested they had traveled to that hill to communicate with extraterrestrials, preparing themselves with protective masks to shield against harmful rays during a contact moment. The note was seen as instructions for an altered state taking capsules to trigger a trance and waiting for a signal that never came. If the capsules were real, and if they were some kind of psychoactive drug, it's possible the men died of an overdose or from the environmental conditions while unconscious. But no capsules were ever found. No container, no residue. And toxicology, though inconclusive, found no drugs in their systems. If they did take something, it left no trace. Other theories bloomed in the silence. That they had been victims of a cult ritual. That someone else had given them the pills. That the capsules were poisoned intentionally by a third party. that they had been murdered for discovering something forbidden in their fringe scientific work. Some even suggested it was a government experiment, or something darker evidence of a real contact with the unknown that had gone terribly wrong. Yet nothing ever pointed to a clear answer. Police found no evidence of another person being involved. The case went cold. Today, the lead mask's case remains one of the most disturbing unsolved mysteries in modern history, not because of what we know, but because of what we don't. Two men, educated, healthy, and seemingly lucid, traveled to a remote hillside, donned lead masks, and waited for something. No one knows what. No one knows if it ever came. All that remains is a cryptic note, two empty shells of rain-soaked suits, and silence. They were waiting for a signal. That's what the note said. A signal from where or from what, we may never know. The rain washed away any real clues. The capsules were never found, and the lead masks, like silent blindfolds, only deepened the mystery. Was it a ritual? A failed experiment? Or contact with something not of this world? Whatever they expected, it never came. Or maybe it did, and left no witnesses behind. Thanks for watching. If this story left you uneasy, you're not alone. Subscribe for more real horror, unexplained deaths, and chilling cases that defy reason.